Hi, I'm Michael Gibbs of Security Management Magazine. I'm at a training facility north of Baltimore, Maryland, where I'm a student in a one-week intensive training course on executive protection given by R.L. Oatman and Associates. Today we're going to learn about 3 scenarios on attack on principles. The first, an attack at a political rally. The second attack is at a stopped vehicle. And the third attack is at an announcement of corporate layoffs.
We've now stepped into what we call attack on principle scenario day. And the weather couldn't be more cooperative, so we're out in the rain and we're inside the large hangar where we're doing our exercises. We are now going to issue for the first time weapons that are rendered safe, and in those weapons will be what we call marking cartridges. And we're trying to articulate to the group that the difficulty of getting your gun out and returning fire against an adversary is close to an impossibility. So therefore, if you do your homework correctly and you understand that the threat is there, you're going to understand that planning is absolutely critical.
Okay, what we're going to see next is I'm a local senator showing up at a VFW meeting. The exercise is going to show what's going to happen if my personnel aren't prepared for an attack.
Oh, there you are. That's a senator. How you doing, guys? Let's hear it. All right. Hey, welcome. Thanks so much for coming. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
As I address the crowd, the threat will come from a shooter nearby, depicted for our scenario in these still photos. As we finish our drill, the instructor again walks us through the lessons of the exercise.
And what else is he doing while he does that? He's covering time, but what else? We talked about it out there at the dummy drag. Distraction. He's cutting down the angle, is what I'm getting at. He's providing you cover, but he's cutting down the angle. The closer he gets to the shooter, the less chance, the less view the shooter has of you, even if he's going to try to shoot around you at the back. See what I'm saying? Step back all the way back to the end of the crowd. From back here is the shooter now. I can still see portions of his back going out the door, okay? But as you come towards me, just like a goalie we talked about in soccer, I now have less of a chance of getting around him, even if I'm going to do that, which I am probably not, correct? He's the immediate threat to me now, and unless I'm really bent on dying here today, I'm going to address this immediate threat on me as well. So I just took all the attention off of the principal and the detail leader who are getting out of harm's way. I cut down the angle on their shot, on the bad guy's shot. I did all of that. And of course, when he did decide to shoot, he hit what he was aiming at. And that's the right, that's where we have to be.
In this scenario, bad guys have staged an accident, blocking the road to trap and kill the principal. Students have to get the executive to safety. It doesn't go so well.
We got a kid hurt up here. He got hit by a car. Help us out.
As you can see, this scenario is dead drop serious. The bad guys have staged an accident. There's no way out of this situation. The students come down with the automobile. They realize now that they've got to stop the car. This drill is you're faced now with 2 possible adversaries. What decision are you going to make? As you see the way they're dressed, they're completely in protective gear, both around their neck, their chest, their groin area, and especially the head area, because they have a weapon and we have a weapon. Now this particular one, we didn't have to draw the weapon. We used a piece of pretend dynamite, if you will, along with gasoline.
Now they got a real device. Now what are they going to do now? Now they're going to have to make a decision to go. You hear it? You better get out. Better get out of harm's way, everybody.
And what should have happened, again, the detail leader needed to cover the principal and tell the principal, sir, I'm in charge. We're going to take you out on the number 3. 1, 2, evacuate the car, cover the principal, and get away from the threat.
As this scenario plays out again, you can see how the next students tested put Oatman's advice into action. Let's watch.
Hey, my buddy's sick, man. Can you help him? Help him, man. Come on. Help him.
Come on, excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. That's what we expected. We'll let the detail leader explain why he did what he did.
We pulled over. Our vehicle's disabled. On 3, I jumped in the back. My driver scooted to the opposite direction of the threat, and we came out. I kept them in a low profile, providing rear security, and getting them to a safe area, safe haven.
And the move was perfectly executed on 3. Well done, home run.
In this scenario, the students are practicing how to handle a situation in which a corporate executive is visiting to announce local layoffs. Clearly, the executive was not protected.
Let's hear it, everybody.
I'm going to lay off 75%.
What? What are we really looking for, gentlemen and ladies? We better find a shortcut and a back way out of a bad scenario.
So the minute you came in here, you should have been looking for where's the other exit. If you've never been in this room before, you should have been thinking, how do I get out if?
In a panic situation, be it a fire in a restaurant or in a nightclub, where do we find most people piled up? At the doorway that they came into, not the 7 exits that existed in the other perimeter of the property.
You've got to recognize things on the fly right now, not just because you have the checklist and you say, oh, my job's the advance today, I'll do this and such, but everywhere you go, you have to start scouting these things out.
I would not stand that close to my principal given a scenario very similar to this.
You've got to train yourselves to be observant.
But once the bell starts ringing, we're going to have that eye contact between myself and my principal, Edward, and he's going to give me, I'm going to give him the look and see and say, sir, it's time that we depart.
What are the baseline principles that you don't want to get lost in all these hours of training?
Most importantly, good team dynamics, understanding that there is risk in the world in which we live, and most importantly, stay with the fundamentals. This isn't rocket science, but if you don't understand the platform, then you're going to end up going the wrong direction.
Is there a common misconception that most students come in with?
Well, one of the things we work very hard at is trying to get rid of this myth of the bodyguard. I can give you 100 different explanations, and most of the general public can, and normally it's a negative connotation. The word bodyguard is the gorilla in the tuxedo, and that's nothing to do with who we are. You know, we move quietly, we move professionally, and most importantly, we move because we've been trained to do it correctly.
Do most of your students encounter resistance with their protectees when they get back or starting on the job, or do most principals buy into this?
You know, that's the real challenge, and we hear this all the time. Our executive won't buy into the program. You know, there's a chemistry, and again, it's like anything else. Now you have somebody that's accompanying you in everything that you do, and I believe, and part of this program is understanding that dimension, if you will, how to stay back and how to get close. You know, we call that the choreography of protection. And that's something that you really learn as a result of having good communication with your executive and not being there when you don't need to be, but also obviously being close enough in case something does occur.
Can you tell me about the facilitation element of executive protection as opposed to the protection part of EP?
Well, quite honestly, that's the majority of what we do. We drive our executives. We arrange transportation from point A to point B. We're at the other end of that trip. So when that executive does in fact arrive in that foreign destination or even in a domestic city far away from where their headquarters is located, you've got a fresh face and you identify who that person is and you know you have a professional on the ground that's already done all the homework.